Trey,
I'm Derek.
and this is TDX, man. What is this? Episode 6,
Episode
going into week
six.
8, going into week NFL week 8. What is going on, man?
Not too much, other than the fact that you try to sit there and make me look dumb with that last promo. But hey, that's old news and whatever needs for the show, right?
Hey, whatever gets people to tune in, man. I mean, what it is. I thought the promo was good, man. It was a really good promo.
It was a really good promo. And speaking of really good things, this week we're going to talk about wide receiver ones and defensive back ones and DB1. Like, what exactly makes those types of players up? Because we have a bunch of people out there, Dallas Cowboys, trying to say that they got a bona fide wide receiver one, but yet when you really look at what it takes, you don't see it.
Um, CD Lamb is a number one in my opinion. I know you're kind of tough on CD, but CD's a number one receiver, man.
CeeDee
But we'll
Lamb
we'll, we'll
is
get into it, I guess.
he is a very good receiver. I do want to start that off. I do not want to take anything away from that young man. He definitely deserves to be in the NFL, but not everybody is WR1. A lot of good careers can be made in that wide receiver two position, and I get it. At the end of the day, it breaks down to how much do I get paid? Well, I'd argue that the wide receiver two is just important as a wide receiver one in a lot of systems out there. Let's take a look at like Minnesota, how they constantly do it. We saw Stephon Diggs and JJ, Justin Jefferson out there, how both those dogs are out there eating, but you got to be able to share that ball. That wide receiver one doesn't want to share that ball, but with that, that's because they break any coverage. They wiggle in and out of every coverage no matter what. They're that constant threat, always demanding two and three people at a time, and they still catch the ball. They still come down with it. Not everybody's got to be Julio Jones, Megatron, Jerry Rice, people like that. But look at AJ Brown, especially how he took over the Miami Philly game last week. That is a wide receiver one.
And I believe CD does that. But you got to remember, just like with Philly, Dallas, they have a lot of targets that they can feed. They got a lot of personnel there that, like when Brandon Cooks got there, I thought he was going to be a good number two, which would alleviate some of the pressure off of CD Lamb. But Brandon Cooks has been, I think he scored his first touchdown this past week. So,
Brandon,
I mean,
Brandon, Brandon Cooks is nothing more than an older version of CeeDee Lamb.
no,
They
that's
are the
not true.
exact they play the position the exact same way. They try to do what they can to burn you with their speed. The problem is everybody in the NFL is that speed.
But CD
Every
Lamb has the ability to catch high point balls and stuff like that. Brandon Cooks has always been a burner.
if he has the ability to catch high point balls consistently, why is he 32nd in red zone targets? He only gets 35% of the targets from the Dallas Cowboys in that position going
But are
into
they
the red
throwing
zone.
the ball a lot in the red zone, or are they running the ball? And then you got to
Dallas
go with what's Dallas Cowboys' conversion rate in the red zone.
at the same time, if you're that WR1, that all of that is nothing because they will build that entire red zone offense around you.
And I think he's definitely their wide receiver one. But
He
I,
is
I
their
guess
wide receiver one,
you'll get
but
into
he could
what
use
you
them more.
believe a wide receiver one is as far as the intangibles and attributes, things like that you need.
I mean, because think about it. So would you? So let's take a look at his draft class. You had Ruggs, who made a dumb decision. You had Jerry Judy, who we can all agree is in the wrong system for his skill set, being grossly underutilized. You had Jalen Rager, which whatever happened to him.
Where
We
is
have
he
just
at now? I'm not even sure where he's
ex-
at.
somewhere tucked away somewhere on an NFL roster, practice squad probably. Then you have Justin Jefferson that was in his draft, and then you also have Ayuk, who Ayuk is not a number one, but he is that
He's
solid
a
number two receiver.
1.5.
Exactly, and that's where CD Lamb is a two. Well, it'd be 2.5, but CD Lamb is a two.
Oh, he's
Is
not no
what I say.
2.5. He's not no 2.5. He's not that bad. That put him between a 2 and a
No,
3.
uh, okay, I see where you're going on that one because I'm thinking going up, like 2.5. He's that wide receiver 2.5
Yeah, no,
going
I'm
into
saying
one, but I see what you're
Ayuk is
talking
a
about.
1.5. He's not a number one, but he's
Yes.
showing the capability that he can be.
I would agree if the NFL played people who were like 6 foot 6'1" for receivers or defensive backs that couldn't really jump as high as your wide receiver. I mean, CeeDee Lamb is built like your prototypical DB1. He's just converted over to wide receiver. The boy's good. He's got a nose for the ball, but I mean, he can't get it. He cannot beat consistently all the coverages that are out
This is also not all on CD. You got to remember who his quarterback is.
there. This is true. I
But we're
will
not
give
going
you
to get
that.
into the quarterback slander this week.
No, no, not this week. But and then you got to look at the draft class. I want to say this is the one in front of him, the 22 or the one after him in the 2022 draft class. You had just Jalen Waddle, Devontae Smith, Kadarius Toney. We're not even going to talk about him. Rashad Bateman. Still ain't going to talk about him. You got Elijah Moore, who he is a solid number 2 receiver, if that.
Is he though? Is he? Is he even the number 2 on the Browns? No. Peoples-Jones is the number 2.
So he's a receiver 3, WR3. So he's a 2.5 going down to the 3.
Change of
Then you
scenery
got
didn't help him too much.
no, and then you got Rondell Moore, who we got Rondell
He's a
Moore.
weapon. He's a weapon. I don't consider him a wide receiver or anything. He just goes out, put the ball in his hands and let him go.
Then you got Nico Collins.
Solid this season. Solid. Breakout year.
He's shown to be, who surprisingly is shown to be a number 1, with Tank Dell as his number 2 to help him out.
Oh,
Again,
God,
that's where I talk about the importance of the number 2 receiver. Look at Santonio Holmes with AD
Mike.
when he
Oh,
was
you
with
talking-
the
No, they
with
had
the
Mike
Steelers.
first. It was Mike
They had
first.
Mike
Mike
Wallace.
Wallace. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, look at that. And then look how Hines Ward played his roles expertly at wide receiver too. He was never their X receiver.
He knew his position. And I feel like Houston, the receivers, they know their roles.
And that's the point. And so, and then you even look at the draft class of the second round for CD Lamb. DK Metcalf for CD Lamb's draft in the second round. You have DK Metcalf. Are you
AJ
really
Brown.
going to start? You're going to start?
No,
Yeah, you got AJ Brown in
wait.
there.
Are we talking
Yeah,
about the
no.
same draft class now?
19.
'Cause
19.
that was the draft class before CD Lamb.
That was the draft class before CD Lamb? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, the draft class before this is in the second round where receivers are starting to go. You had DK Metcalf, you had Hollywood Brown, AJ Brown, Debo Samuel, and Scary
Wait,
Terry McLaurin.
we're mixing classes again. Hollywood Brown was picked in the first round. By the
Sorry,
Ravens.
I messed up. I have round 2 on my notepad here, and that is not what I was talking about. 19. This is the first round of receivers. My bad.
Mhm.
My bad.
I got you. That's why
yeah.
I have my notes are right here.
Yes. Sorry. Anyways, average Joe position. Okay, average Joe's got to write this stuff out. Not all of us
Got
are
you.
someone like you. But in that 19 draft class, you had DK Metcalf, Hollywood Brown, AJ Brown, Debo Samuels, Terry McLaurin. So you sit there and look at that. Are you really going to be starting DK under CD?
Depends on what you want. I think CD Lamb, if we're comparing just those two, CD Lamb is the better route runner than DK. DK is just a big, fast body with all the athletic check marks next to his name.
You're the football coach. You have CD Lamb and DK Metcalf
And
on
I
your
can only
squad.
start one.
And you've got one on. No, you're assigning your receivers. You got the X receiver. Who is your X receiver?
Well, I just answered that. I would roll against DK. I'm rolling with CD.
You're rolling with CD as your X.
Yep,
So you're going to be
DK,
running
yes.
because you feel DK can take the beating in the underneath.
Yeah, he can. And he DK is a guy that takes the top off of defenses, and then he has the ability to go up and make a catch if he gets a one-on-one.
Well,
But
then
CD Lamb is the better route runner.
okay. So then you want the more precise route runner weaving through the defense in your number 2 spot, and you want to be able to take the top off the defense in the X position. That's what the whole point of the X position is to do.
I'm taking CD over DK. You better give me a comparison. If you're trying to beat CD up, you better give me a different comparison.
AJ Brown over CD
Okay,
Lamb.
that's not fair. That's not even close. You ain't gave me one that made me go, yet.
uh, McLaurin.
I'll take Scary Terry over CD.
Okay. Now you want to go back? I love my unreasonableness here. Let's go Tyreek. If you got Tyreek and CD on the same team.
That's not fair either. Because I know you're not talking about Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill got his name in the hat as best receiver in NFL right now. And I think when you pull the name out, his name comes out.
Oh yeah. What about Ahmad St. Brown?
See, there you go. That's a good one.
22 draft class after CD Lamb, but you have Ahmad St. Brown, who is the Browns number one, or not the Browns, but the Lions number one receiver.
If you ask me right now, today, both healthy, I'm taking Amon-Ra over CD Lamb.
As your ex.
Yes, I'm taking, and because as I said, CD runs better routes than DK, but Amon-Ra has made it like he's one of the better route runners in the league right now, and then he's got good hands.
So you want to talk about better route runners? Number one receiver. He was on the same team as CD Lamb. What about Amari Cooper? Amari Cooper, I mean, he's got motor problems. I got it, but I mean, the boy runs some smooth routes.
Amari Cooper, he's one of the better route runners in NFL history. Right now, no, I'd still take CD Lamb though.
You still take in the right
now at this point in their career.
What about Deebo Samuel?
Deebo's not a real receiver to me. I don't know if that's if I'm wrong for saying that, but look at how the 49ers use Deebo Samuel. When is the last time that you saw with your own eyes, not on a highlight, that you was watching a game that Deebo caught a pass upfield? Not like a bubble screen or something where he ran a route, got open, and caught the ball.
No, it's the same thing like with Percy Harvin. He's Percy Harvin 2.0.
Percy Harvin was way more athletic.
I get he was way more athletic, but Percy Harvin wasn't as durable as Deebo.
Deebo has durability? If you're comparing to Percy Harvin, then yes, he's durable.
Exactly. We're talking about Percy Harvin, not overall in the league.
Ain't Deebo hurt right now?
No, he's back in the lineup.
But you get my point, though.
No, I get your point. The last 2 seasons, he's always been he is injured all the time.
He gets beat up. He
does. But that's because they're also trying to run him like a running back, as well as run him as a wide receiver, as well as run him as a slot receiver. And with Christian McCaffrey coming in there, that's helped alleviate a lot of that.
Yeah, so Deebo, he hasn't been just injured all the time, but he has.
They're starting to stack up.
Yes, for sure.
Now, what about Jalen Waddle?
He's also, when he's healthy, he's solid. If he can learn anything from Tyreek before Tyreek decides to hang up the cleats, he needs to be picking the hell out of his brain, because he very well could be the next Tyreek Hill.
I agree. But to me, Jalen is a number 2 receiver. I mean, because he needs that mentorship from the number 1, like you said, like with Tyreek. They played a lot of the same.
Jalen's rookie year, he put up 1,000 yards, and Tyreek wasn't there yet.
Right, but he still had a lot of trouble shaking the coverages, how to beat a lot of those coverages, because a lot of those were just like, hey, let me catch a 3-yard and just take it all the way up the middle, or take it down the sideline, because I can't be caught by anybody on this field.
And where did Tyreek start when he was with the Chiefs? What was he doing?
Punt returns.
But what was he doing though when he finally got his shine? The same stuff.
The same thing.
There you go.
But that combination, and with Tua, and Tua's used to that whole setup as well too. 2 outside receivers that can just burn up an offense. He was doing it in college with Devontae Smith and Jalen Waddle. So that's why they look so good this year, so dang dangerous.
And Tua got beat up for he don't have the arm for these 2 receivers, and yet he's leading the league right now.
Exactly. Josh McDaniels? No, Josh McDaniels not over there. What's the kid's name?
It's the McDaniels, though.
It's the McDaniels. He's doing an extremely Mike McDaniel. He's doing an extremely good job over there in Miami, and I like it. I don't like how they fired Brian Flores, but I can't be too mad about that team getting rid
That's
of him
ancient.
hitting the
That's
ball.
ancient. We got to move way past that. I think there was a coach in between Flores and McDaniels.
Yeah, but so anyways, my top three receivers in the league right now are AJ Brown, Tyreek Hill, and Stephon Diggs. And if JJ and Justin Jefferson wasn't hurt, I'd have to put Justin Jefferson in that number two, that number three spot, because I mean he was definitely tearing it up big time this season before he caught that injury. But I have to
Absolutely.
give I've got to give Stephon Diggs his props.
His
Having to work
flowers.
with
Yes.
Josh Allen is rough. I get it.
Hmm.
But every time I go up against him in fantasy football, he's always the last player to play, and he's always the one whose points tip the scale for my opponent. So I think that's a little bit. Also, I have a little bit of vendetta for the Bills offense.
Jealousy. It's fine though. It's fine. You'll come around.
Oh man. Well, let's go ahead and shift over to your more of your expertise, the defensive backs.
Expertise.
What does it take to be a number one DB?
Oh man. To basically do your best to try to stop them guys that you just said. You got to be. Now, here's the thing. A lot of people like to think that to be a number one DB, you got to get interceptions and get pick sixes and things like that. You don't have to do that because you got to think Sauce doesn't do that yet. Sauce is regarded as the best DB in the league right now. Sauce eliminates either a side of the field or a receiver from the field, whoever he's on. They've decided that just in his second year in the NFL, a lot of teams don't even target his side. So, not one of my favorite DBs in NFL history, but I think he put a lot of attention to targets, if you will, and he like least targeted in NFL, and that was Richard Sherman. Richard Sherman for a couple of years he was touting that he was the best in the league because he was the least targeted, and that basically was like, okay, yeah, that is absolutely a stat. If they won't throw you the ball, there is a reason why they won't throw the ball to that side. But the difference between Richard Sherman and some of the guys in the NFL right now is Richard Sherman wasn't a man guy. He was a zone guy. And he could take a side of the field away rather than a receiver away. So NFL teams started to figure that out. And they was like, okay, if Richard's on the right, we'll just move our guy over to the left. And then boom, we can still use our guy. Around that same time, I never regarded Richard Sherman as the best best DB in the league any of the times that he was doing it because that number one crown belonged to Patrick Peterson. Because Patrick Peterson was a guy that would follow the number one receiver around no matter where he lined up. So Patrick Peterson was the man of that era. But as far as in the NFL right now, I've already spoken about one since we're doing top three. Sauce Gardner is probably the number one because I said I needed to see him do it again this year before I gave him that crown. And from what I've seen, quarterbacks just don't target his side. They don't target whoever he's on. So he's got to be number one at that. PS2 is probably number two for me, Patrick Surtain. When I think he's got a pick six on a year. I'm not sure, but when he's got the length and the speed to just take away your number ones. So he does that. And then I'm kind of biased to my number three, and that's Jair Alexander. He's been a little banged up this year, but when he's on the field, he does exactly what the other two guys do. He makes plays on the ball so they don't target him at all.
What about Xavier Howard?
Xavier Howard, he's getting old, so he's not what he used to be, but he's still a guy that you want to know where he's at on the field, but he's not what he used to be. And then right. Jalen Ramsey, I don't. Jalen hasn't even played yet this year, but when they both get on the field, that's another dynamic to that Miami team that could very well be a problem. Because if they don't have the athleticism no more to do it, they still got the brain power and the know-how to make sure that, hey, I can't get there, but I know what these receivers want to do.
Right. Wait. Hang on. Do you hear that? Yes, it's every Dallas Cowboy fan sitting there screaming, "What about Diggs? What about Trayvon Diggs?"
I'm not big on Trayvon Diggs.
He's a gambler.
He plays in phase, and that's the thing. He allows if he basically, and I hate this. The only way I can get people to understand what I mean when I say that. Deion wasn't the most stickiest DB in NFL history. But Deion had crazy acceleration. and crazy speed. Now, Diggs does not have both, but he's got crazy closing speed. So he allows these quarterbacks to he gives them a false sense of security. He makes them
Right.
think that that receiver is open, and then that closing speed comes in, and then he picks the ball. And that's why he led the league in interceptions that year, because he takes chances, and those chances paid off.
But he got burned the year before, and he was getting well. No, he was doing pretty decent with it this season until that injury came up.
No, but he is the biggest boom and bust corner in the league. What it is he's either getting interceptions and pick sixes, or he allows touchdowns. And that's not a number one DB in mine. Like when he made All Pro, I laughed at it. I'm like, that
Right.
this is your All Pro. It was because of the interceptions. But let's look at what he allowed. And they didn't take that in accountability when they gave him the All Pro.
Well, he also had help from Eli Apple on letting things happen. So
Oh my God. That's one of the worst DBs ever, with one of the biggest mouths. Just terrible.
Hey man, he
Segue into
motivated.
this. Segue. You done brought up Eli Apple. I ain't want to talk about DBs no more.
Segue out of this one. All right. So right now, question: what if you could go all time greatest? And they don't have to have played in the same era. But what to you would be the greatest wide receiver one, DB one matchup that you would go and watch every single time
Of all time?
of all time?
Well, we already got to see it. They played in the same area. That was Jerry Rice versus Deion Sanders.
That was, Jerry Rice and Deion Sanders. That would be
That
your
was
number one.
we got to see it. But if you wanted to go make believe land,
Well, that's where we're going with this. It's part of the fantasy
and
aspect
I'm not
of
even
it.
going to use those two. I'm not going to use those two. I would like to see Sauce is good, but I would like to see what Sauce would do with a prime Megatron.
Mm,
I don't
yeah.
think Sauce would have anything for that.
Yeah. Well, what? So you say prime Megatron? What about What about a prime Julio Jones?
Prime Megatron is one of the greatest wide receivers of all time. He checked every box. This dude had size, strength, speed. That dude was a creative player.
You're not wrong. Megatron was definitely a wide receiver that I did look up to a lot.
And
Uh,
another career wasted in Detroit.
hey, you're not wrong, man. He does that. They should just give him a ring off a GP. I'm just saying.
Well, he made it to the Hall, so.
Yeah. And then you got Julio Jones, which is another one who kept kissing greatness and just couldn't get there.
No, but the issue with Julio is the difference between him and Megatron is Megatron rolled out when he was still decently high. Julio was still trying to hold on to what he used to be, and what he can contribute to a team isn't the same in his head as what he's actually doing.
I think it's just having to get him in the right scheme. I, I hate seeing the decline that he did. It's giving me Andre Johnson vibes. Like if Andre Johnson would have continued the route he was going, he would have wound up looking the same way Julio did or is right now. But I mean AJ or not AJ, but Andre Brown was another big bodied receiver that checked
Andre
every single
Johnson.
box. Andre Johnson, every single box when it came up to go and get the ball. I mean, like again, I liken him almost to Tony Gonzalez when it came to the quarterback carousel that he had to put up with throughout his career and still put up amazing numbers.
Yeah, he's the greatest receiver in Texans history.
Top 10 in NFL.
I don't agree with that at all.
Top 10 to top 15. I'll give him that bracket.
He's absolutely not top 10.
You wouldn't, but at least top 15.
I don't know. I'd have to make the list. I'd have to really sit down and
You
think
have,
about that. But I
well, we'll
know
have,
for a fact he ain't top 10.
you'd put Larry Fitzgerald over him?
Absolutely.
Larry Fitzgerald was a hell of a teammate. I will give him that one.
Absolutely. You see, I didn't even think about that one.
I know you didn't think about that one. I was just threw out a name that I knew you would automatically agree with because I put Larry Fitzgerald over Andre Johnson. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah,
I'm not even gonna sit there and lie
Fitzgerald's
about it.
one of the greatest to ever do it.
However, again, my favorite carousel players or quarterback carousel player, I'd like to say, guy who had to put up with just an ever revolving door and
DeAndre
won't pick
Hopkins.
two part. Close,
You
but
wasn't ready
yes.
for that one.
Close. No, you threw me off on that one. I was going to say skill position player. We'll talk about this position on another episode, but that's Tony Gonzalez, the greatest tight end to ever play football. You want to talk about Megatron being the cheat code for wide receiver one? Tony Gonzalez is your cheat code for tight end one. He changed the position for
But Tony
starters.
wasn't fast. The guy that's supposed to be the Chico for tight ends is not being what he's supposed to be. That's Kyle Pitts. He's supposed to be the cheat code for tight ends, and it's just not working out. It
But
could
he's
be the
just,
quarterback.
it could be, but I'm just saying, like, I mean, there's another cheat code coming. There's another cheat code coming in college, sitting in college football right now.
No, Mr.
And
Bowers.
I cannot wait to see what he does when he hits the league. But I will tell you this though, I still don't think Kyle Pitts is as good, would be as good as Tony Gonzalez.
He has all the stuff to be as good as
He
Tony
has
Gonzalez.
all this. Mm.
He's got all the
If
stuff, man. All
if
the
you gave
physical.
if you gave if you could swap out Travis Kelce and Tony Gonzalez would have numbers that nobody on this earth would be able to hit at this point in his career.
Yeah, because Tony played in an era where it was run heavy. They
Yet
weren't
run
passing the ball
heavy,
like that.
wasn't passing the ball like that. Didn't have a starting quarterback in an era where there were big name quarterbacks everywhere. And you've got what I mean, like they're picking people out of the stands to play quarterback for the Kansas City Chiefs. That's how easy Tony Gonzalez made the job.
I don't disagree with that. He was solid in his day. I didn't see a
But
whole lot of
that
him playing, but what I did see, and I think I was watching the movies with Atlanta, so that was on the backside of his career.
in the backside of his career, and you saw how him and Steven Jackson came in and lifted up Atlanta. But again, that's about as far as we'll go
No,
with the tight end
that wasn't
debate.
Steven Jackson yet. That was Warwick Dunn.
That was yeah. Oh, yeah, that
No,
was Warwick
I'm
Dunn.
sorry, not Warwick Dunn, but Jamal Anderson. There we go.
Was it Jamal?
Yeah,
I thought Warwick was. Well, so that was the year after Warwick Dunn left. Then
I'm not sure of the timelines. I'm not gonna say a lot, but I know for a fact that Tony Gonzalez was there when Jamal Anderson was there. I believe.
because he was there with Julio. Tony was there with Julio.
Was he?
He was
I'm
one.
not.
I
I'm
think it
not
was like
sure of that.
1 or 2 seasons because it was Tony, Roddy White, and Julio were that receiving core for like 1 or 2 seasons. It was early in Julio's career.
Had to be. I'd have to look that up. I'll put a pin in that and come back.
But yeah, but that's for the tight end debate. I can already hear New England fans talking about Gronk right now. Look, I get it, but when you look at the numbers, they're not even close. I can
Yep. Save
hear
that thunder.
Kansas.
Save that
Yeah,
thunder.
I can hear Travis. I can hear Swifties and Kansas City Chiefs fans talk about Travis Kelce. Look, not even close. Again, I'm not disparaging any of these players. It's just Tony stands on that elite of a level.
Agreed.
And then for the last bit of this, let's go ahead and turn our eyes to the schedule for this week. We got your boy Josh Allen playing against the scourge of the quarterback world, which I see is Baker Mayfield.
Next question. The two quarterbacks that you love the most in the NFL are playing each other this week. That is
Hey,
amazing.
I got love for Tony Romo 2.0. I really do. I would love to see him win a Super Bowl. I would eat that
We're
L
not
for
going to go into
breakfast, lunch, and
that.
dinner.
People tuning in right now, if you want to know how we talked about this Tony Romo slander that was put on Josh Allen, you got to go to episode 5. We are currently in episode 6.
Oh man! And then we got the Jets and Giants this week. I think Tyrod is better than Zach Wilson, but it's going to come down to the defenses in that game. I think the Jets probably pull that one out.
You got the schedule in front of you because I want to make sure that we don't skip over
I do.
nobody. Okay,
No,
so
I do.
Jets and Giants.
Jets and the
Giants.
Giants.
All right, so we're gonna do pick'ems now. So if people want to, because
Yeah.
we're gonna start putting these shows out before the weekend ends. That's what I want to start doing. So
Yeah.
pick'ems. For tonight, give me Bills.
Give you the Bills.
Easily
I'm
give me
taking
Bills.
I'm taking the Bills. Yeah, I'm taking the Bills as well too.
Hold on, ladies and gentlemen. You are going to see a disagreement eventually. I promise you that.
Yeah, you got Jets and Giants. I'm going with the Jets.
I'm going with the Giants.
You're gonna go with the Giants. I'm
I'm
going with the Jets.
Giants.
I think the Jets defense is what is the difference in that game.
I think Zach Wilson's not going to keep him in that game.
We'll have to see. I do like Tyrod Taylor. I really do. So,
Here's a goofy
but,
question. Where are they playing? They're both at home.
in New Jersey. New
They're
York team's
both at
playing in New
home.
Jersey.
Yeah, but now I'm going Giants.
You going
So there
Giants?
you go.
We got Jaguars and Steelers. I'm going
Uh,
with the Jags.
I would take the Jags in that one too.
I'm going with the Jags on this one. Trevor Lawrence is just they're on some type of roll right now. They remind me of Alabama. You don't know how the hell they're winning. They're just doing it.
Hey, our division is trash. But go ahead, continue.
You got Eagles and the Commanders.
Next question. And you'd
Yeah,
be a fool. I
you
mean, I understand that the Eagles struggle against teams that they're not supposed to. But as I always say, if the Commanders won, it wouldn't surprise me. It's a division game.
and the Commanders are known for some crazy ass stuff to go on, but they
Because
don't
who's
have
their
Tyler Henneke.
quarterback?
They got Sam Howell,
Exactly.
who who you said can win you a Super Bowl, not
Can,
will,
can,
can. So
can.
why are you picking against him?
Because they're playing one of the better teams in the NFL, fresh off a Kevin Byard acquisition.
Oh God, I forgot. You
Yeah,
Titans. You
yeah,
guys really are trying to implode, aren't you? Just
yeah.
sell
We're
off
not
the
trying.
farm so you can rebuild.
I hope we trade everybody else.
All right, you got Rams and the Cowboys. I see the Cowboys. Oh, I almost threw up. I'm sorry. Mm.
I
Whew,
got the Rams
that
winning.
hurts.
I got the
That hurt
Rams.
on that one.
I
They
got the
are.
Rams.
You got the Rams.
The
You're going hard
Rams.
with it.
I'm
With
going with the
Williams down.
Rams.
Okay. Okay. Vikings
He
Packers.
just moved on.
I
No,
just
man,
moved on.
The Rams, man. What are they gonna Cooper and Puka? What are they gonna do? What are
Mike,
they
well,
gonna
you
do?
gotta. We'll see what Parsons can do if he can sit there and tap into that Miles Garrett level and just start busting through the line. Matt Stafford is getting a little gunshot. He didn't look the greatest last week, so we'll just have to see. And
Hey,
they
I got
lost
some.
Williams.
Hey, in my defense, I'm going with some upsets. That's one of my upsets.
Okay. You got Packers, Vikings. I'm going with the
Packers.
Vikings. I'm going with the Vikings, especially coming off that close win. That's what I got to go with. Got to
That's why
go
I'm
with the
going
Vikings.
Packers.
Rolling with old cousins.
Nah, man. Jordan, love time. This is gonna be Christian Watson's breakout game.
Well, I hope so. The man's been looking pretty trash as of since. Not saying he is. I'm just saying he's not doing as well as he did last season.
Christian Watson and Luke Musgrave is about to have a good game,
Well, that's because one of them's on your fantasy team.
but I'm not playing them this week. That's fine.
we got
Continue.
we got the Falcons versus that other team in Nashville.
What's the other team in Nashville? The only team in Nashville, but
That team from Nashville.
Atlanta. I got Atlanta. Yeah, with the Titans hat on, I got Atlanta, man. We ain't trying to win no games. Will Levis will be getting his first career start this week. He may turn some heads, but it ain't gonna be hard for him to do. If he throws for 150 yards and maybe a touchdown or two, and has one or less interceptions, that's a slam dunk for him.
We'll see. We'll see. The Falcons, I don't know. They looked so shaky against the Texans and everything else this year. I still got to go with them though because I hate Tennessee that much.
Wow. Okay, that's fine. I can accept that. I can live with that.
Even if Tennessee was undefeated and the Falcons were over, I would still go with the Falcons on this one.
Hey, I can live with it, man.
And look, everybody can sit there and shame me all they want. That's just how I feel, especially
No,
because
man.
of those uniforms. Especially JJ, I agree with you. Them uniforms it's a travesty.
They belong to us. Continue on. You don't want to go down this rabbit hole.
Oh my gosh. We got
Hey,
Patriots and Dolphins.
before we go on real quick though, we will be wearing them twice this year. One of them
Anyways,
we will grace you guys with. But go ahead. Go ahead.
okay. Anyways, continuing on, we got the Patriots versus the Dolphins. Obviously, the Dolphins are winning that one.
It's a division game.
I'm going with it. Look, that's because your boy Josh Allen looked like trash going against the Patriots. That's why you're saying that.
Aren't the Patriots coming off a win?
Yeah, against your boy Josh Allen.
Yeah. It's a division game. You never know, man.
We got the Saints and the Colts.
Give me the Colts.
Yeah, I was about to say
Give me the
yes.
Colts.
Yes.
The Saints could win that game. Look, the Saints got to be the favorite. They have to be favored to win that game. But the Colts, They lose games they shouldn't win, and then win games they shouldn't. So
Absolutely.
give me the
And
Colts, man.
coming off that frustrating loss to Cleveland, I know they're going to be angry. As much as I hate to say it, that's what I got to go with. Got to go with the Colts on this one. I say the number 2 pick in the draft tops the number 1 pick in the draft with the Texans versus the Panthers.
Yeah, Texans. I go Texans on that one.
Panther,
Smart money says
Panthers are
Texans.
Panthers are a dumpster fire. They might be able to get it better. It's just not their season coming out. They don't have a clear cut number 1 receiver. CJ
Yeah, they
Stroud is
do. His
doing
name is Adam Thielen, and that's not good though.
right. So they don't have a clear cut number 1 receiver. The Texans are way out kicking their covers for what everybody expected this year.
Absolutely, they are.
They are, I mean, like even in their losses, they look good. I mean, like it's definitely a huge improvement from last season, a lot better product. I do see this game going well. And CJ, I need you to play really good, and I need you to throw at least 2 tutties to either Schultz or to
Nico.
Collins. That'd be greatly appreciated. I will buy your jersey. I will make my son wear it
That's
every
not a
single
fantasy
day.
team hopeful or nothing, right? That's just
No,
you
not at
wanting
all.
greatness for your team. Okay.
That's just me wanting greatness for my team. All right, up next we got the Browns versus the Seahawks.
Seahawks.
PJ Walker starting.
Seahawks.
You going with the Seahawks?
Because PJ Walker is starting.
I don't know. I think the Browns might be able to squeak out another one with PJ behind the wheel.
I would have started Dorian.
That defense, man, is disgusting.
I would have started Dorian. The Browns got the best defense in the league quietly. I don't know if you know that.
That's exactly why I'm going with the Browns on this one.
But
Like,
PJ Walker is the quarterback on the other side, and they don't have Nick Chubb. If Nick Chubb was there, then I would say easily, Cleveland. But
Ford's stepping in really good.
the Seahawks are going to have a lot of opportunities to be on offense, and they're going to figure it out eventually. That's why the Seahawks win. PJ's not going to be able to move that ball consistently as Geno is.
All right. Well, we'll see on that one. I think the Browns still are able to keep them in the game and actually give that ball right back to CJ as he gives it up, or to PJ as he gives it up. You got Bengals 49ers, which most people believe to be one of the bigger games of the year. Unfortunately, is not looking to be that right now.
49ers are going to bounce back. And
You think you think the 49ers in their 3-game skid?
They're not on a 3-game losing streak.
They're 2-game skid. I might just be calling it early. Might be a 3-game skid.
They just lost 2 in a row?
They just lost 2 in a row.
Whoa, yeah, they're going to end that for sure. I had them winning without even knowing it. I didn't even realize they dropped 2 straight.
They dropped 2 straight. You think the 49ers win this one?
Oh, yeah.
I have to go with you. Bengals haven't given me enough to really believe in them. This could be the game that they snap back and go to it, but I really think Joey should have sat down and not put all this bad film out there. He should have sat it down. It's been 2 weeks. You don't know what could have happened. They could have won. They could have lost, whatever. But he should have put the team first. I get it. You signed that big contract, but
the 49ers can't afford to lose this game. They can't.
Mm-mm. Then you have Chiefs Broncos.
I'm not talking about this one.
Think we've already seen this game?
No, there's no need to talk about that one. If the Broncos put up a fight, I'd be impressed.
Hey, Pat, I'm gonna need another great game like what you did in Taylor Swift's Boyfriend. I need you to get your second touchdown of the year on this one, along with that 100-yard game you like throwing up as well too. The last couple games.
He meant a 2-touchdown game, not a second touchdown of the year.
Well, it felt like it was the second touchdown of the year. That's how big that drought's been going. That's very uncharacteristic of Taylor Swift's Boyfriend.
I like how you're referring to him as. That's what media is pretty much referring to him as. So I'll allow it.
That man is getting slandered so bad. He has his own career to stand on, but there it is. Then you got Ravens at Cardinals.
Cardinals are tanking, clearly. When they beat the Cowboys, that was like a oh snap! Like we actually have the opportunity to beat the Cowboys, and who doesn't want to beat the Cowboys? That lets you know how much people dislike the Cowboys. We're tanking, yet we're going to go ahead and take this dub.
Yes. They will go out of their way to run over the Cowboys if they are in position to do so. Up next, you got Bears Chargers.
Oh God, it's easily to pick the Chargers, but the Chargers, since Justin Herbert has gotten there, have underachieved in a way we have not
I
seen in the
blame
NFL in quite some time.
I blame the coach.
Something's got to give. They got way too much talent, man.
Way too much talent. I'm blaming the coach on this one only because of the numbers Justin is putting up right now and the flashes that he constantly shows. I really do think that coach is holding him back. Brandon Staley, I do not see him coming back next season if they do not make the playoffs and win.
Yeah, we will see.
And then lastly, we've got for the Monday night game, we've got the Raiders versus the Lions.
Raiders got 3 wins, man.
But the
Just
Lions,
saying.
the Lions, after getting smacked down the way they did against Baltimore, I'm telling you right now, homie, they're coming back.
Oh no, I'm picking the
MCDC,
Lions. I was just being funny. I'm just saying the
oh yeah,
Raiders got 3 wins. They ain't the whooping stick that everybody thinks they are, but they're gonna lose Monday though. That's a
oh
terrible
yeah.
Monday game. Oh, that's terrible.
I know, but Josh McDaniels is not a head coach. Go back to Bill Belichick and be an offensive coordinator. There's
Yeah,
no shame in that. There's no
that's
shame
a
in that.
terrible Monday night game. I don't like it.
I don't like it either.
But
But
whatever. Lions. Give me the Lions.
I'm taking the Lions as well too, and I'm hoping Gibbs has another breakout game.
He had a really good game last week.
Oh yeah. All right, well that'll do it for us now on this show, episode 5. Please remember if you're watching us on YouTube to like, share, comment, subscribe. Give us your thoughts, give us your opinions. We'll do our best as we check the channel to respond back to your comments. Keep them professional, and we'll return the favor. And I'm not saying we're going to get in the trenches with you, but we'll respond to you.
Or if there's a subject or something you want us to cover, put it in the comments. We will definitely check it out and we will consider it for a future show. I promise you that.